Welcome to Grand Prix, your go-to channel for the fastest updates in Formula One. We've got 3 hot stories for you, so make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay ahead of the pack. Let's get started. McLaren heads into Formula One's summer break with a commanding lead in the Constructors' Championship, an impressive 299 points clear of Ferrari. In the drivers' standings, however, the fight is far tighter, and it's an intra-team battle. Oscar Piastri currently leads by just 9 points over teammate Lando Norris. Max Verstappen sits in 3rd place, 88 points adrift, but the reigning champion is still viewed as a threat. No one can afford to underestimate Verstappen's ability to turn a season around. In a recent interview, McLaren CEO Zak Brown acknowledged that the title fight will likely come down to his 2 drivers. He revealed that discussions have already taken place within the team on how to manage the situation should both drivers remain in contention until the very end. Brown pointed to the British Grand Prix earlier this year as an example of the kind of tension they want to avoid. At Silverstone, Piastri finished second behind Norris but was visibly frustrated after missing out on victory due to a controversial in-race penalty. The Australian had hoped McLaren might return the position to him to restore his lead, but the team did not intervene. That moment underscored the fine line between letting drivers race freely and managing internal rivalries. According to Brown, McLaren will stick to its policy of not favoring either driver, even with the championship margin so close. He made it clear there will be no shift towards supporting just one driver for the sake of securing the title. Instead, the outcome will depend on each driver's consistency, execution, and perhaps even unpredictable factors such as weather conditions, safety car interventions, or on-track incidents. This approach is a bold statement in modern Formula One, where teams often lean toward backing a single driver when championships are on the line. Brown's stance suggests that McLaren values fair competition between its drivers and believes both are capable of delivering under pressure. However, it also opens the door to potential flashpoints if a critical race sees the 2 going wheel-to-wheel for victory. Maintaining harmony within the team will be crucial. The Constructors' title may already be within reach, but a collision or costly mistake between Piastri and Norris could shift momentum in the Drivers' Championship and invite rivals like Verstappen back into play. As Brown noted, the challenge is to allow competition without letting it become destructive. For now, McLaren's plan is to let the fight unfold naturally, trusting that both drivers can manage the pressure and race respectfully. The second half of the season will test not only their pace, but also their ability to handle the psychological strain of a direct title fight against a teammate. So what's your take? Should McLaren continue letting Piastri and Norris battle it out on equal terms? Or should they prioritize one driver to maximize their chances of securing the Drivers' Championship? Sometimes, a strategy built on freedom can pay off, but in the high-stakes world of Formula One, it can just as easily backfire. The saga over who will drive for Cadillac next year, or which drivers, if they go with 2 changes, is far from over. Each day brings new twists, and the team still seems uncertain about which path to take. Not long ago, reports claimed Valtteri Bottas had already signed a contract, with an official announcement expected soon so he could take part in testing later in August. But that reveal never came, and now fresh information suggests the second seat is still very much up for grabs. According to sources, the contenders include Brazilian driver Felipe Drugovich, currently Aston Martin's reserve, Sergio Perez, recently dropped by Red Bull and now without a seat, and a handful of rookies. Many insiders see Drugovich as the favorite if Cadillac decides to pair Bottas with a younger talent for the long term. If the priority shifts to a proven name who brings substantial funding, Perez remains a viable and attractive option. New reports from Planet F1 and Argentine outlet Olé indicate Perez is now extremely close to finalizing a deal. Negotiations have reportedly progressed well in recent days, with an official announcement planned for the Italian Grand Prix weekend, September 5th to 7th. If confirmed, the 35-year-old Mexican would return to the grid, bringing over a decade of Formula One experience, multiple race wins, and podium finishes to the ambitious Cadillac project. The potential arrival of Perez raises another question. Would this affect Bottas's place in the lineup? Some within the team had openly stated they wanted only one experienced veteran, with the second seat reserved for a younger driver to build for the future. signing two seasoned competitors could shift the balance of the team's long-term strategy. Cadillac faces a pivotal choice. On one hand, Bottas and Drugovich could form a blend of experience and youth, setting a stable foundation for the years ahead. On the other, pairing Bottas with Perez would create one of the most experienced lineups on the grid, offering immediate racetrack and commercial appeal, but perhaps at the expense of nurturing a future star. There's also the marketing factor to consider. Perez has a massive fan base in Mexico and Latin America, a loyal following that could boost Cadillac's visibility and commercial reach in key markets. The sponsorship opportunities tied to his name alone could be a decisive point in the negotiations, especially for a team still establishing its footing in Formula One. Another angle is the development of the car itself. A pair of seasoned drivers could accelerate feedback and improvements, potentially shortening Cadillac's learning curve in its first years. However, this approach might limit the team's ability to cultivate a young talent into a long-term asset, something that could pay dividends down the road if managed correctly. As the days count down to Monza, speculation will only intensify. The team's final call could shape not just their debut season, but the trajectory of the entire project. All that's left is to see whether the Italian Grand Prix weekend will indeed deliver the long-awaited confirmation. So what's your take? Would Perez be the right move for Cadillac, or should they place their bets on youth and long-term potential? Who's the better driver right now, George Russell or Lewis Hamilton? In terms of career achievements, there's no debate. Lewis Hamilton's record speaks for itself, with multiple world championships and a place among Formula One's all-time greats. But when we narrow the focus to recent seasons, particularly the years they spent as Mercedes teammates, the comparison becomes more interesting. Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff recently addressed this question head-on. Without holding back, he stated that Russell was already the team's strongest driver last season, in 2024, even when he was going up against Hamilton, a seven-time world champion. For such a young driver, Wolff admitted the pressure was enormous. Yet Russell rose to the challenge. Wolff highlighted Russell's growth since his Williams days, praising the way he has stepped into a leadership role at Mercedes following Hamilton's departure. In his view, Russell had already proven himself to be the faster and more consistent performer last year, before Hamilton even made the move to Ferrari. The Mercedes boss didn't stop there. He added that Russell consistently delivers results even when the car isn't competitive, demonstrating adaptability and resilience. Beyond his on-track performances, Wolff described him as a complete professional, someone who excels not only in racing but also in building strong relationships with sponsors, partners, and the wider team. For Wolff, this combination of speed, consistency, professionalism, and public image makes Russell the ideal number one driver for Mercedes at this moment in its history. The only question now is when a new contract will be finalized, as the team's confidence in Russell's future appears to be at an all-time high. It's worth noting, however, that circumstances played a role in shaping this decision. For much of the past year, Mercedes had openly shown interest in bringing Max Verstappen on board, with the Dutchman reportedly topping their list of preferred options. With Verstappen no longer available, Russell has become the undisputed lead driver in Brackley. Still, the dynamic inside Mercedes will be closely watched. While Russell now carries the clear label of team leader, the arrival of a competitive teammate in the future could test his authority and the stability of the current setup. F1 history has shown that even well-managed teams can face internal friction when two highly motivated drivers are chasing the same prize. The upcoming seasons will be the true test of whether Russell can transform this confidence in a championship contention. While his performances have been impressive, carrying a team through a full title fight demands consistency under immense pressure, a challenge Hamilton has mastered in the past. Now it's Russell's turn to prove he can do the same. So what's your opinion? Do you agree with Toto Wolff's assessment that George Russell is already Mercedes' strongest driver? Or do you think he's amplifying the praise to strengthen his bond with the team's current leader? The debate is on, and the track will soon provide the answer.